Hey guys, Reuben Williams here, founder of SportsGrad. Back in the day, I landed a job at Cricket Australia on the Monday after my final university exam. And then 3 years later, when COVID hit and my job was made redundant, rather than looking for work for months on end, I was headhunted into a role that doubled my salary. I'm not telling you this to brag, I'm telling you because there is a method to it. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. For example, Lucas Viana, one of our members, called the SportsGrad method a cheat code, and another member, Sasha Brahim, she called it magic. And honestly, I'll take that. Now, most people spend years trying to break into sport and never figure out why it is not working. And so the reason that this podcast exists is to change that. Every week, I'm going to share some real moments from real coaching calls that are unfiltered, unscripted, so you get a taste for the kind of work that has helped people land over 800 roles in sport and counting. If you're ready to stop guessing and start moving in the right direction and go after the career that you've always wanted, apply for the SportsGrad Method program at sportsgrad.com.au. Now, let's get into it. So, the reason why we're doing this is because knowing what you're going to say at any moment is going to be incredibly important, not just in interviews, but when you're networking, when it comes to LinkedIn content, when it comes to being putting on the spot at any point in time. One of my favorite quotes is from Bruce Lee, who says, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." And so when you think about when you get to an interview, most people, they don't start thinking about what they're going to say until probably 3 days before it. You know, they get a few days notice, they've got an interview coming up, and they're like, okay, maybe I should start thinking about what I've done in the past. They'll write it down on a bit of paper, and then they go into it. That's it. But when they get into that situation, they are probably, 10% prepared for what they potentially could be. And what they don't realize is that those answers that they share in that interview, they should have been working on for a long, long time. And so what you really want to do is make sure that when you're going into an interview, you've done your preseason, okay? And so what we're going to do today is going to make sure that you are doing your preseason and showing you how to make sure you're always constantly doing your preseason so that when you get to that interview, it's not a surprise and you're not getting tripped up. So a little refresher from Tuesday. The way that we're going to do this is make sure that you are not only stopping at selling your experience and what you've done in the past, but also selling your potential in the future, your ability to be the best possible candidate. What that looks like is the difference between where you are at now and what you can become in the future. The reason why we do that is because that is what effectively going to be judged upon. A combination of your capabilities, so your education, your skills and experience, and your potential. That's going to be the pointy end of the selection criteria for you. And so we're going to keep building on this because it is incredibly important, and talking about it in one session will never be enough to make sure that we're doing it properly. So today we're going to keep building on what to say everywhere you go. And not only will this help you in your applications and your networking or interviewing, but also in your casual conversations. And if you want to take that copy as well and repurpose it into LinkedIn content, it's an easy way just to kind of not ask for permission to put yourself out there. You can be doing all this writing to help prepare yourself for an interview. If you wait for an organization to ask for that experience, you are keeping yourself hidden from the rest of the world by not sharing that ahead of time. And so where we want to end up is in a position where you guys can separate yourself from the industry ready by becoming industry wanted, because you are the kind of people who are prepared to sell themselves at every moment. And that means turning this into a tiny habit that you complete regularly, so that no matter where you go, whether you are prepared to show up online, in person, and on paper in the best way possible. And that is how you're going to differentiate yourself from the rest of the pack who only show up whenever they get handed an interview. So a little reminder what we're trying to become and why potential is important. The dream hire in the mind of an organization is someone who is going to stick with an organization for 5 to 7 years, and in that time develop compounding ability to do the job, compounding relationships with the people with whom they do the job with, and every year that they stay in the job get better and better and better. And so over a 3 or 4 year period, they are the person who's producing the most amount of value for the company. So they want someone who they can invest in and they can grow to get to that point in time. So to do that, we need to signal our potential. And that is because and so these are the 5 things that will signal your potential. So that difference between where you are now and what you become, that is part of the selection process to getting that job. So number 1 is leadership, because at some point you're going to have to step up into a management role if you're not going straight into one, and you're going to have to be the person who takes charge on any project. So flagging that you can do that at the moment, or you've got the ability to do that at the moment, is a key part of signaling your potential. Second part is emotional intelligence. So you're going to be working with teams. This is effectively like how good teams work together. If you can signal that you are taking into consideration other people's point of views and what other people are going through to get a job done, then you can show that you are considerate of others in the process, can work well, and show a high level of emotional intelligence. Next one is your problem-solving ability. So signaling what steps did you take to find out an answer, not just jumping straight, oh, this is how I got there, but actually showing your workings, breaking down the steps. Where did you find resources? Where did you find people? How did you come up with this answer? Because how you are resourceful indicates, how you might be resourceful in another situation. Then the next one is initiative. The world relies on self-starters. Managers ultimately don't want to be, chasing you up all the time. So your ability to signal that you don't need to wait for a ticket to go and can get stuff done without being told is going to be a huge green flag in the mind of anyone looking to hire you. And then finally, previous results. So things that point to your credibility, increases, whether it be feedback you've received, or increasing your number by 10%, 20%, whatever you've been able to do in the past, things that flag your credibility, that show that you can get a result for the bottom line. So again, a quick reminder on what we are looking to achieve. When you are going through this process in a networking setting or an interview or whatever, it is really just a test of your self-awareness. And that comes down to your ability to recall the right information at the right time and deliver it in a way that sells you in the best possible way. And so that's where the professional back end comes into play to help make sure that you are recalling the right story and telling it in a way that people understand and signals your potential. So to do that, we're going to give them a burger with a lot. And there are 3 levels to the burger. Level 1 is there's a messy burger, where they ask you a question and you start your story in the middle, then you go to the end, then you jump to the start, you add, fill in the gaps here and there, and I can get what you're saying, but it's just a bit all over the shop. Level 2 is the burger looks like a burger. You started at the start, you then go to the middle, and then you finish off with the end. It's like, okay, cool, I understand what you're saying, but I feel like there's more to this story than meets the eye. Then level 3 is a burger with a lot. And that's where you pack with all those different indicators of potential. It's where you take sidebars to explain how you got someone in your team on side to do a project to get to the end results. Where you take a sidebar to show the initiative that you went to go the extra mile to get the result. This is where, the burger with a lot and the initiative and all the indicators of potential come into play to give people in the sports industry an answer that they didn't know that they wanted. Okay, people don't know what they want until they see it, and what we want to do is give them a packed answer that they didn't know that they wanted. So by learning how to do this over a long enough period of time, that is how we are going to change the trajectory of your career. All right, guys, that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed that and got something out of it. If you want to learn directly from me and our other SportsGrad coaches who are working directly in the industry, then jump into the SportsGrad Method program. Once you're inside, you'll also get access to the entire SportsGrad Method curriculum that comes with a 90-day roadmap, so you know exactly what to do next. There is a step-by-step system to this. You do not have to think of what to do. We have thought of it all for you. Plus, you can tap into the SportsGrad network and get introductions to the people that might be hard to meet for you at the moment. Plus, you'll be surrounded by the wonderful SportsGrad community who are all helping each other get closer to their goals as well. So the results speak for themselves. Have a look at the website if you want to check it all out, but we'd love to see you inside and receive your application. See ya.